Supposing you had the chance to get rid of some of your worst nightmares, what would they be? My guest is here tonight to persuade me to banish the items on his list to room 101. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome Michael Parkinson.
Hey, Mike.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'll just unbutton my jacket. You sort of specialise in sitting down and unbuttoning the jacket. Nobody did it before you.
Well, I've actually never seen you wearing a suit before, Paul. I almost didn't recognise you. I always turned around and went back. It brings out the blue in your eyes, too. You know, you've got that Paul Newman thing now in your eyes. Anybody ever tell you that?
Well, that's all you've got time for. Thank you very much. Now, Michael, did you have difficulty picking items to put into room 101?
Not at all. Coming down here today, I heard a record of Elvis Presley. I thought, how much I hate Presley.
Do you?
And he and all of his work would disappear if I had my way.
Let's have a look at the first item that you've volunteered for room 101, which I believe is, if you want to get it out of the drawer, it's in the drawer there.
Right, OK. Well, there you are. There you are. And he's... Actually, it's a football... It's all right going, oh. But what about when they've got a fella inside them, eh? And they wander around biting and fighting each other. That's the Barnsley.
So this is actually a football mascot. This is the thing that you hate. It's not actually this item.
No, not that. No, I don't mind those cuddly toys. I hate men who get inside them and pretend to be children. I was once at Barnsley, actually, about 3 years ago. I went up there, and I'm walking down to the ground, and you tend, if people recognise you, to just sort of keep straight ahead, as you know, just in case, you know, looking neither right and left. Now, this guy behind me say, "Hey up, Parky," and I said, "Hello." And he said, "Hey up," and I turned around and said, "It's 8 foot Toby Tyke." And, of course, their mouth doesn't move. It's very strange. The voice is coming out of his ear hole. But you wonder about what kind of person.
You're lucky it came out of his ear hole. So this is...
It's just the other thing, too, is that we never, ever do these things properly. The Yanks do it well, and we always copy the Yanks. Have you ever seen cheerleaders, our version of cheerleaders?
Yes.
And they are, and I don't wish to be crude, but it happens to be true. I mean, in America, they're all Playboy centerfolds, aren't they? And they can dance. Our girls have all got legs like Bobby Charlton, you know. And I'm not being... but they're not. They're not...
Just... No offence to Bobby Charlton. No, most Football League clubs do actually have a mascot such as this. This is Wycombe Wanderers. This one's called Bodger the Old Man.
You say Bodger?
Yeah, Bodger, yeah, but the problem is no old man I've ever seen look like that. This is Moonchester the Alien. He's the one with the big head on the left. There's an argument that says these are just harmless individuals and, you know, it warms up the crowd before a match where the fans think, you know, they just want to sing song being led by a 6-foot pigeon. What's wrong? What's wrong with that? Football mascots aren't the only thing you dislike about modern football. There is, I believe, men who wear football shirts who aren't actually footballers.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. I mean, I do think there's a perfect symbiotic relationship between guys in the crowd, fully grown men, wearing football shirts and with huge sort of beer bellies, and this. It's not even fashionable, it's not sensible. And why would you, a grown man, want to actually behave like that? I mean, I used to go to football matches with a football shirt on, but I used to put my other clothes on top of it.
You've got a nerve criticising other people. Why did you do that? How old were you when you did this?
Because the fantasy in all those guys who sit there in their shirts nowadays is that one day they're going to be plucked from the crowd. That was my fantasy.
It is peculiar to football, isn't it? Because people who go to see Grand Prix racing don't go along wearing crash helmets and flame retardant overalls. Well, yes, am I going to put this into room 101 or not? No, I think it gives a job to the lunatic fringe in society. It's not going into room 101.
Dear. All right, okie dokie.
Right.
There you go.
What's your next selection for room 101?
Teenagers.
Teenagers?
All of them.
Oh, here we are. Like most teenagers, it's legless.
I'll tell you what, it's actually, it's too good-looking to actually be a teenager. Where's all those zits and eruptions and pins and rings and things? I can only be rude about teenagers because we've had 3 teenagers, and
That's not me and you, that's you and your wife.
And I've also, I hated any point of my life I hated. I hated being a teenager.
There have been many teenagers in the course of Western civilization who have actually brought great things for us. Mozart, for example, apparently wrote 20 symphonies before he was 21, I think. Nigel Kennedy, violin virtuoso. Where would we be without his early great recordings?
But what sort of like the rest of the British people, they share the aspirations and hopes of the Conservative Party.
Geoffrey Howe's must have been something under his breath. Loser. What was your teenage years like, Michael?
Teenagers weren't invented when I was a teenager. I mean, with teenagers, there was that awful gap between being, you know, sort of 12 and 20 that nobody knew about.
Quite often you were like a miniature version of your father,
yes.
where you were encouraged to dress the same.
That's right. There's no fashion. There's no
yes.
teenage fashion at all.
Yes.
You're left to your own devices. And I just, you know, like all teenagers, I was a sort of my face erupted. I had like volcanoes of pus and zits and things all over my face.
Were you one of those sort of awkward, gawky kind of characters?
I was very tall and very thin.
Yeah.
That's me.
On the right or on the left? What were you like with the girls then when you were growing up?
Very shy.
Were you?
And I mean, you didn't actually. I mean, it's sort of the business nowadays of teenagers and sex. I mean, you thought about it, but. You know, I mean, if you held hands in a movie house, it was a proposition of marriage. Almost,
yes.
You know?
So, you weren't any good at chatting up girls at all?
Not too good, no.
Would you have had more success if you had a couple of chairs, a clipboard, a four-piece band, and a staircase? So you mentioned the thing about going to movies there. So, how were you an avid cinema goer?
I used to go 4 or 5 nights a week. Yeah. And,
really?
Yeah. And that's where I learned about the world, in a sense. I mean, I knew about America, I knew what it looked like, I knew what their cabbies talked like, and many, many years before I actually went to New York, I mean, I was aware because of the movies, and I wanted to be a movie star.
Did you have a particular hero?
I did, Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum, yeah.
Absolutely, and the likelihood of me being Robert Mitchum was, I don't know, nil. And I used to go to bed, and I used to love his dimple. I always wanted a dimple. And I used to go to bed at night, and I used to get my chin like that and put a plaster across it like that. And I also...
Were you wearing your football kit while you were doing this?
And then I used to love the way he could do that. He could go like that with the eyebrow. And so I used to, again, tape that up. So they'd be lying in bed looking like a road crash victim.
I couldn't agree with you more, really. I think the teenage years are horrendous. They were certainly horrendous for me, if they were horrendous for you. So, without any doubt, teenage years are going to be banished into room 101.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent.
Your next item, in a world full of injustice, disease, war, poverty, you've chosen those little bits of cotton that hold socks together.
I have.
As one of the items you want to put into room 101. Well, I've got a selection of them here.
You have to be a man to appreciate this.
You're referring to...
Women don't have this with
these socks are bought, and it's just a question of... You can't... Well, I mean, you just open them like that.
No.
That's what you do.
No. I don't know where you buy your socks from. Normally, where I buy my socks, they're joined there.
Yes.
At the top. Right?
Yes, well, rather like these, would you say?
No, what are you talking about?
Well, see, it's just, just open them like that. It's like that, simple.
Well, I could never do that.
I've got a pair here.
Well,
have a go at those. Have a go at those. There we are. Let's see how you get on.
Well, no, these are thick. No, they're thick. I tell you what you need.
Yeah.
Look, I've got a pair on.
All right.
I mean, I find your socks you buy them when you're in a hotel room or wherever, you'll run out of socks. And you'll never have a Swiss Army knife on you to cut the thing or a pair of scissors. And I pull, and because I wear fine hosiery, unlike these things...
You wouldn't have dared say that in Barnsley in the 40s.
Not unless I was wearing a pit helmet. Then they come apart. I'll show you exactly what I mean, because this is a random selection. Stand back. Stand back. Now this is from my. I know.
Don't encourage him.
Little black. Now I've got 27 pairs of socks like that.
Has it never occurred to you to get a pair of scissors?
And why should you have to bother with a pair of scissors? I mean, buy a pair of bloody socks. You don't buy a pair of scissors with them.
There's no need to swear, Michael.
I'm sorry. I'm getting really upset.
You are getting upset about these, aren't you?
it's absolute. Why do you put the socks together in the first place?
There's a whole industry involved here. If I put these in the Room 101, they no longer exist. You'll have people out of jobs in cotton factories. You'll have children saying to their mothers on Christmas Day, "Mother, have we got any presents this year?" "No, dear, we haven't got any presents because I lost my job at the factory because Michael Parkinson, Britain's leading talk show host, is too clumsy to open up a pair of socks."
Why don't they just stick it on like that or whatever? Well, why do they have to put the cotton through? That's what I can't work out. Why do they need to do it? And it is a great mystery. I lie awake at night worrying about it.
So you're lying awake at night with the sticking plaster, the football kit, wondering how they managed to put these socks together.
I do.
Do you?
It's a very sad life I've got.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Michael, I'm not putting these into Room 101. I think this is really, don't you start. I think this is just trivial. I'm afraid you're going to have to keep them in your life.
OK, all right.
Let's move on to your next item, which is a part of the British way of life, I think, and it's weather forecasts. Now, what on earth could you possibly have against weather forecasts?
Well, it's simply that they're a waste of time. And particularly, they tell you the obvious. The guy comes on and says, today it was fine or it was raining. Well, we know that. If you want to know what the weather's like, stick your hand out the window. I mean, that'll do me fine. And they always get it wrong, don't they? I mean, in the crucial moments, like when there's a typhoon coming in or something like that, they never get that right. When you really want to know, I mean, like, you've got to peg your house down and that sort of thing.
So you have a programme on BBC now called the Weather Programme.
Yes,
highly devoted to the weather. And here we have the World Weather Summary. Now, if you look at this bit here, the Sahara Desert, you'll see it's dry. If we didn't have the experts, we have to make do with these people who come up with weather folklore. You know, these idiots who hang a bit of seaweed off their coal bunker, which tells you it's going to be raining next Christmas. Yeah. We've dug one out here. This is a genuine sort of old country saying. I'll put it there so you can see it. And this is the country saying. Beware the oak, it draws the stroke. Avoid the ash, it draws the flash. But under the thorn, you'll come to know home. So I think, you know, this is the sort of thing that we might end up with if,
Well, I'd rather have that than that.
All right, I agree with you. Into Room 101 it goes.
Down it goes.
This next item that you've chosen for possible selection into Room 101 is a surprise, because a lot of people might have thought that this was a subject that was close to your heart. It's, in fact, the MCC.
The Marylebone Cricket Club.
Now, what have you got against the MCC?
Everything. The MCC are a private cricket club, a headquarters at Lords, who actually have a fundamental part to play in the running of the game. They are the guardians of the laws of the game. And most of the people who wear that tie are on various committees that run the game. So they have great power and influence within. And I just think it brings out the worst in me. It's to start with, it's a kind of a remnant of Gilbert and Sullivan Britain, which has no relevance today in our modern society, certainly as we go into sort of 2000 and onwards. And also, too, it's that thing I have about the English class system, which I think still is alive and well. And I object to it. I object to the way it kind of stifles enterprise and imagination in Britain. And I think they're just represented. I'm not saying that they affect our lives. I'm not saying that they affect the overall general being of things. They have no power outside of cricket. But cricket being something I love, I see in them a representation of all I want to change in Britain.
That's a very serious point that you make here, well, because when you were growing up, for example, the Northerner was... I mean, what you in the world of journalism, you managed to break out of that sort of particular life that you're in. But if you hadn't have been a grammar school boy, if you hadn't have been good at English, presumably, what would have been your options?
I'd have gone down a pit. But that was my family, and that would have been my fortune in a sense. That would have been my life. But I fortunately the 45 education that freed the lads like myself, and we won a scholarship, went to grammar school, and also I had a very sensible dad who said, you know, you go down a pit and I'll kick your ass all the way back up the pit lane back home, and he was quite right.
You know Australia well, don't you?
I do.
And Australia doesn't have that class system at all.
I mean, and if I were an Australian, I'd be a Republican.
There's a story I remember reading, maybe a apocryphal about a bunch of people approaching the Duke of Cumberland, shall we call him, and saying, you know, sort of working-class people talking to him and saying, well, how did you come by this big house and all this land and acreage? He says, oh, well, you know, many, many centuries ago, my family won a great battle and we've had this land ever since. And they say, all right, well, we'll fight you for it.
It's like the honour system in this country, too. You know, I mean, I object to people who have a good time.
Have you ever been offered an honour?
No, and after this programme, I don't think it ever will happen.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the setting of Lords, we've got a little clip here, an anecdote from a history of Lords, and I think this gives you an idea of the magic of the place.
Here, the relics of the game are lovingly arranged and annotated, from Dr. Grace's cap and Don Bradman's boots to the sparrow that was hit in mid-flight one afternoon in 1936 when Mr. Jahangir Khan was bowling a T.N. Pierce. The bird fell dead on the stumps without removing the bail.
No, that's magic, isn't it? I'm not going to allow Lords into Room 101.
Oh, you have to.
No.
It's all this.
No, there's no have to about it, I'm afraid. No have to about it, because I'll tell you why. Because come the revolution...
Yes.
You want to know where all the toffs and bigots are. You all want them in the same place. All identifiable by wearing a yellow and red tie. You don't have to go through the streets searching for them. They're just there. So for that reason, I'm afraid we're going to keep Lords out of Room 101. There we are, Michael. Now, this next item is a great British institution. We thought cricket was part of the national character. This next item, even more so, perhaps. I really can't believe you suggested this for Room 101. It's Teletubbies.
Ah, Teletubbies, yes. There we go, you see. I've taken many dangerous decisions in my life, but this is one of the worst, because my granddaughter, who I adore and worship, will never speak to me again if she sees this.
Well, how could anybody possibly deny the absolute charm of these wonderful creatures? But this is just them in sort of puppet form. Let's have a look, see what the Teletubbies look like in... that one's pissed. That'll be Dipsy. Let's have a look at the Teletubbies in moving around on video in their own natural habitat. So, what exactly is it about the Teletubbies that you object to, Michael? Should they be running the MCC?
They are running the MCC. Everything about them. You inspect them from every angle. They don't have a redeeming feature. I mean, they're grotesque. I mean, those awful sort of mouths. They look like they're scuba diving, don't they? I mean, they're equally hideous at the front as the back. They look like guests on all these American talk shows, like those American rhinoceros women who come on. Great fat bums.
I can't help it, I don't know, is there a certain element of sour grapes here? Because the woman behind Teletubbies, Anne Wood...
I would.
Yes, you know who she is.
Very talented lady. She did a children's programme that I did, yeah. I did a thing called The Woofits.
Yes, really? Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, I think you'll find we've got a clip of that here, so... This is The Woofits, written and narrated by Mr. Michael Parkinson.
John Willie Woofit was giving his trombone an extra polish. He always took it on outings to play for the singing. He was just giving it a last rub when there was a knock at the door. It was Grandpa Ironside and Grandma Emily Woofit come to wait for the bus. They were all happy and excited, except Gershwin, Elton's dog. Harold Martindale Woofit did not allow dogs on his bus trips, and this upset Gershwin.
No, go on.
Are these creatures, they're dogs, aren't they?
Well, nobody's quite sure what they are. They started life as a French greeting card.
Really?
Yes. and we were asked to, I was asked to write 8 books about them, and I did. I was never quite sure what they were.
They are called the Woofits,
The Woofits, but I mean, they're not dog-like figures as such, really. No, that's not a Woofit. Well, it is
That's
a Woofit.
Gershwin the dog.
That's a dog. I know. That's a dog
That's
Woofit, yeah.
That's a dog Woofit.
But there are yes, yeah, dog Woofits.
So the other Woofits are just Woofits.
Yeah, dog, it was a long time ago. Look, I mean, and I did it for the money, and
Well, I can't think of another reason why you do it.
I thought they burned every copy of that.
There's a line there. There's one of the characters, John Willie Woofit.
That's my dad. You see, what I did was I used everybody in my family. I gave them all names. I mean, Gershwin after George Gershwin, my favourite composer.
Was George Gershwin a member of your family?
No. John Willie was my father, John Willie Parkinson.
Oh, yes.
Right? And Athelstan was my uncle Athelstan. Mm-hmm. And so on and so forth. It's really not worth dwelling on, actually.
No,
Paul.
it's just...
You have something else to tell me.
Well, just the John Willie line. He was giving his trombone an extra polish.
Well, you...
Is that some sort of slang from Barnsley in the 40s? Where's our Michael? He's upstairs polishing his trombone.
Give his tuba a rinse, yes. Yes, I see what you're saying. That's you could actually level the same accusation at my Woofits as people are with the Teletubbies. Mm-hmm. But I don't buy it. I think that my characters were actually, there's something quite attractive and normal about them. And this lot, I see nothing attractive or normal about them at all. I really don't. I just think they're absolutely awful. I mean...
Well, I don't know, Michael. I wasn't going to put them into room 101.
You weren't?
I wasn't.
But?
But, I'm still not going to, so... sorry, no, they're not going into room 101. You're going to have to live with them, Michael.
It's interesting, because I thought that would be, of all the things I'd chosen, that would be the most controversial. But the audience there seems to be some support there for my...
This leads us very nicely onto your last selection for Room 101, which is, how do we describe this? It's celebrities doing jobs that they're not qualified for. And I think we've got something in the drawer there to illustrate the idea of...
What's this? What's that?
That's Dale Winton in his wildest dreams. As a gladiator, but he's just there to illustrate it. So what exactly are you thinking about when you say celebrities are not qualified to do certain jobs?
Well, I'm thinking about this sort of cult of celebrity where things I would think particularly about 2 areas of my life: the talk show, interview program, mm-hmm. and writing. And I'm thinking about the kind of people who are given the job of doing an interview program.
Yes.
Whether they be a footballer, whether they be a paid-stream topless model, whether they be a duchess, when they palpably are not up to doing the job. I mean, and I object to that.
Let's come back to the chat show in a moment, because we've got William Shatner. Sounds like a nervous disease, but we've got William Shatner, Captain Kirk, singing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the Beatles song. And before I heard this, I didn't think the song had anything to do with LSD.
Pictures on a train in a station with plasticine porters with looking glass ties. Suddenly, someone is there at the turnstile. A girl with kaleidoscope eyes.
He was floating 30 feet above the ground when he... Because you're here, Michael, we've tried to find examples, and maybe this programme will become one of them, of somebody who's doing a chat show who shouldn't be doing one. And we found an example of Harold Wilson, the ex-Prime Minister. He did a chat show, a one-off chat show in the late 70s, I think it was. And he's got his guest here, Harry Seacombe. Now, it's hit that rather awkward moment where the guest and the interviewer don't really know what's going on. Harry Seacombe starts whistling out of some kind of embarrassment, I think. But then Harold Wilson comes in with, I think, one of the most banal questions ever possibly asked on a chat show.
Did you play golf anymore?
Not much. Been
Can't afford
busy.
the balls, you see, you've left.
They've gone up since then, haven't they?
They have, I.
There's inflation.
I'll send you something. Play with balloons.
And what do you say you're doing tonight?
And what do you say you're doing tonight?
That is truly awful.
There's no doubt that this is going to go into Room 101. It absolutely deserves to go into Room 101. It deserves to go deep into the bowels of hell. So celebrities doing jobs they shouldn't be doing goes into Room 101.
I wish I'd have had one of those when I was doing the talk show. I'm doing the talk show now. In the early days, it'd be wonderful to eject seats, like drop guests through.
Who were the worst guests that you had?
The worst ones. I don't know. People who were stoned for a reason or, drunk. One or two, Bob Mitchum. But it'd be wonderful to have just said, well, my next question is this. Bonk, down they went. Wonderful. Walk away from it.
What do you think, when your careers look back on as a talk show host, what do you think would be the one interview that people will remember you for? Do you think it'll be...
Probably the Emu.
The Emu. But people have surely forgotten that now,
No, they don't. No.
Well, if they haven't, if we can just run the clip...
All right. I knew we should never have booked it.
Well, we thought it'd be a bit cruel just to show you that. So tonight we've given you the opportunity to exercise some revenge on one of the guests that you had. Could we please bring on the prisoner? Michael, it's quite simple. All you've got to do is just release that string there.
Oh,
that you
I'm
can
going to enjoy this.
Enjoy every moment of it.
Ages. Right then. Away you go, foul beast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Parkinson.
Well done, Michael.
Thank you. Let me take the phone. Thank you. Thank you to my guest, Michael Parkinson. I leave you tonight with a classic example of a celebrity wandering into a huge area of incompetence. Some people would say this wasn't the only time he found himself doing a job he wasn't quite up to. Till the next time, good night.
Go